for today's video, let's check the game of Albert Einstein versus Robert Oppenheimer. E4, E5. When you move E4, you know you love a sharp game, an aggressive one. Because if you are a D4 player, most likely you are a positional player. But of course, you can move D4 and attack. Attack without sacrificing a piece. But if you are an E4 player, expect that this will be a war game. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6, Bishop B5, A6, Ray Lopez. Let's just quickly continue. Okay, this is a main line. And D5, A4, B4, D3, attacking the knight. And here, as we can see, the black king hasn't castled yet. White sacrificed the pawn on E4, hoping for a delay of the castling. The rook on E1 is now having some pressure going to king on E8. So if you are white here, you have to make sure that the king will not castling. You have to delay us at all costs. If for example black has find a way to castling, at least you're able to position yourself to attack the king. Let's see what would Einstein would do here. Knight takes E4, and now the rook and king is just a knight away. Just move your knight and it's a check. Except for knight takes C6 and open check, discover check, attacking the queen, so black has to react. We have 4 types of defense here. Don't forget, if you are a beginner or intermediate level, you have to understand these 4 types, simple 4 types of defense. Number 1, move away. Number 2, protect, support, or guard the attack piece. Number 3, block in the way. Number 4, capture the attacker. And that's simple. So, which 4 types of defense we can apply here? Moving away. You have to move away the knight because it is under attack. Or you're gonna protect this one. Block in the way. There's no way for you to block the way of the knight. And there's no way. Of course, the knight can jump. Or capture the attacker. Robert Oppenheimer decided to go to Knight E7. But what is the best to protect or defend this one? Knight takes E5. Let's say, okay, I gotta capture this one. Knight takes E5. Rook takes E5. And then Bishop E6. Bishop takes D5. And then Bishop D6. Ooh. Now, here, okay, this is a good counter attack. And black is also have some traps here. Speaking of traps, where's the trap? If, for example, the rook would move anywhere here, there is Bishop takes H2. Attacking the king, and the queen is now having some delicious meal going to Bishop. King takes, queen takes, and later on, black would castling. 2 pieces are out, undeveloped piece for the white. So that's a good counter attack. So what if, okay, let's go for Bishop C6, check. Okay, so the king cannot castling because it's check. You can go either Knight D7 or King F8. King F8. Let's go for King F8 instead of Knight going to D7 because there's still a trap. If, again, the rook would go anywhere here, Rook E3, Rook E2, Rook E1, let's go for Rook E1. Instead of Rook E3, there's still Bishop takes H2. Again, giving away the king and the bishop for a double attack. So where's the best square for the rook here? Rook H5, making sure after the capture, go for a check first, Go for a check. King F8, Rook H5, protecting the H3. If the bishop would capture, there's a Rook 2. Rescue the possible double attack here. So let's just go back. If, of course, the knight would decide to capture the other knight. If, for example, okay, I would protect this knight. And that is a huge problem for black. Why? Let's go for bishop d7. For example, knight takes c6. Oh, that's a good by one. Discovered attack, discovered check. That's a good by queen. Here, Robert decided, okay, let's go for knight d7, blocking the way. However, the problem here is the bishop has no space to develop, and Albert Einstein didn't want to stop the attack. He moves queen f3, pressuring the f7, of course, with some pressure on this diagonal going to 8-8, where the rook is residing. Again, we do have 4 types of defense. How to protect f7? Move away, you block the way, or protect bishop e7. If, for example, you move here, bishop f5, there is a knight c6 attacking the knight, attacking the queen. The knight cannot react because it is pinned. Queen d7 and bishop d5, pressuring now the rook. After the capture, discovered attack, let's say rook d8, and there will be a surprising knight c6 capturing the knight. If queen takes, of course, rook takes, bishop takes, and bishop c6, goodbye queen. Robert decided to go f6 here, but of course, if you want to protect this one, make sure your king is safe. There's no check coming. So bishop e6, you develop your piece. Make sure the queen and the rook is connected, protecting the f7 pawn. It's more decent position than bishop f5. However, let's continue the game. f6. So Robert's thinking, okay, I gotta go f6. I want to attack the knight. So if the knight moves, I could like breathe out here. At least I could have some space for my piece to move around. And Albert Einstein didn't want to budge. Like, I don't care. You want to capture that one? There's no way for you to capture it because I have my what? Queen h5. Check. And king cannot go here because of the knight. So first move, g6. Knight takes g6. The knight cannot capture. It is pinned. H takes g6. This is what happened in the game. Queen takes rook. Knight takes b3. So this is a good job for black. Why? Eliminating the one of the active pieces on the board, the bishop. If you have your bishop here, the pressure is definitely on. Knight takes bishop, c takes, and queen d6. This is a bad move. Why? It disconnects the queen to bishop. Because after queen d6, let's go for queen d6, bishop h6, black is forced to give away the bishop. There's no way for you to protect this one. With only your king and the queen cannot connect because of the rook and the knight. This is a competition between the rook and the knight. So what's the best move here? Instead of you moving queen d6, you could just what? King f7. Move away from the pin. Queen h7 check, bishop g7. For example, bishop h6, knight f5. And then you have to do is to simplify the game because you are quality up. And this is a better version of the position compared to what happened in the real game. Of course, after the queen d6, black is forced to give away the bishop, and now the knight is pinned again by the bishop. Earlier, it's the rook pinning down the knight, and this time it's bishop pinning down the knight because there's a queen at the back of the knight. Bishop b7 trying to develop the piece. Queen g7. Of course, the rook is also pinning down the bishop, so you have to move away from the pin. Rook d8, adding more defender. Knight d2. The only piece that haven't, the only minor piece that left undeveloped is the knight. You have to develop it. Bishop, queen, and rook, they are not enough to checkmate the king. It's fully defended. So black is doing great here, protecting the king. with 3 pieces as well. So knight d2, c5, rook d1. Here, you can just move rook e2 and then rook e2, rook e2 and then rook e1, targeting the knight. Battery on the e file is still good to do. However, Einstein had something on the mind here, like, okay, I don't want to finish it in a simple way. I want a brilliancy. Rook d1 after a5, knight c4. And after knight c4, the purpose is to make sure this queen will move away and will capture the queen, the knight after. So let's, for example, with c6, and then rook capture, rook takes, and queen takes, and sooner or later will be checkmate. But Robert decided, okay, I gonna capture the knight, queen check, and resign after.